Good evening, everybody.
Hey, good evening, everybody. We haven't started yet, but we are on. Okay, thank you.
I mean, because the last,
Hey, Jeff. Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I was watching people talking and I couldn't hear anything. I don't know if it was on my end or your end, but I
Oh,
hear
it is.
you.
We haven't started yet.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here for our regular monthly meeting. It is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. It is now 6:05 p.m. and I will call the meeting into order. Jeff, can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Young,
Here. Sorry.
Commissioner Wolf, absent, Commissioner Decker,
Here.
Commissioner Zakos,
Here.
Commissioner Black,
Here.
Commissioner Joyner, absent. We have a quorum.
For that, we will move right on to old business. Can I get an approval for the minutes for January 2026? Has everybody been able to read the minutes? I'll make it. Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That passes. Thank you, Linda. If Linda's on the line, thank you so much for that. Next, we'll move on to approval for accounts payable for January 2026. Was everybody able to go over that? Short and sweet this time around. You'll make it, Samir? Yes. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will move right on to the executive director's report.
Good evening, we want to thank you for attending our meeting tonight. My executive director report, I'd just like to share a few items. First is that we're proud to say that the Mayor Ferris hosted the very first community meeting here at Bliss Towers at Columbia Apartments. It was well attended. I would encourage our residents, if anything else occurs, that more people participate, but we did have a good number of residents that participated and questions and they asked questions. It was good. It was good. It was a good presentation. It was nice to have our neighbors come here and participate with us directly, and I invited people down to come back in the future. Can you please hold on so my computer doesn't shut off?
Oh, no.
Yeah, let me plug it up very quickly. That's
What?
bizarre. When I brought it down, it said that it was charged. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a copy of this. Along with this. Fine.
The board briefing?
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't get that.
Oh,
Yes, she got this one.
Okay.
Oh, is it
Sorry
a
about
problem with that?
The next thing I'd like to
Thank you.
share,
There was actually an extra.
yeah, there is an extra. Next thing I'd like to share with, unfortunately, our vehicle for the property was damaged. We have a truck with a plow on it, and while the snow was being plowed, unfortunately, the truck caught on fire on January 26th. And we now have to put that through our insurance. Just want to make the board aware.
Welcome, Teresa.
Yeah, we'll put that through the insurance and make sure that we procure another insurance. So we just want to make you aware of that. The next thing I want to alert you to, that unfortunately, it was discovered or brought to my attention today that our board meetings have not been posted. I was completely unaware of that. Just so people can understand, prior, I was doing the minute meetings for the board. But now we have Linda Finoff, and she's been doing them for quite some time. And so because of that, I haven't had to go check, because I typically type the minutes from the recordings. So I had no idea. So in the future, if anybody noticed that our meetings are not posted, please alert us immediately, because it is not our intention to not post our meetings. We have our meetings hybrid so that the public can participate. And we also want to make sure that if they're absent, they can see it just like any other meeting in the city. I've talked with our provider, and there was some transition there, and there was a gap in, the work being done, but they will make sure that those get uploaded immediately. So we apologize for that, but that was what the problem.
So you're saying that the meetings are not live?
No, our meetings are live, but the recordings were not posted to the YouTube Hudson City, Zoom website.
And how was they supposed to get posted to send them to the?
We have a provider that
They're
upload,
supposed to upload
and they
them?
had not been uploaded, and I was unaware.
Okay, because someone did ask me, I just didn't know.
Yep, I was
If they were
unaware, but
supposed to
that
be
is
there or
not
not.
the intention. We want our meetings to be posted. And to the public, that
I
watch us.
apologize.
If, yes, we do apologize. And if they're to the public that does watch us, you know, we
Reach out.
have the right to be held accountable. And if you see something like that, please say something about it, because we, you know, want our meetings to be posted and we don't have a problem being.
Right,
responsible
we're
for
not
that.
trying to be private.
Yeah. So rather than just, hey, they're not posting the meeting and keep it quiet, just please bring it to our attention.
Some, well,
That's-
it had been brought, but I didn't understand, so
Yeah.
I have to.
How long was this going on, do you know?
I guess it's
It's been from what,
6 months.
It's been,
from what Mr. Decker just shared with us, the
Mhm.
last meeting was posted in July of
Oh.
2025.
and I think I was
And,
introduced in January.
One of the things I want to offer is that we are a community and we are part of the community. And I
Yes, we
actually
are.
spoke about this at the mayor's meeting, so like, you know, don't leave us as an outsider and not participate with us and say, hey, why are your meetings not being posted? Like, it's just a question and it deserves to be answered, so please help us help you, all right? Thank you for that. The next thing I'd like to do is share. Well, I'll leave that for last. The next thing I'm gonna do is update the fact that we did attend the planning board meeting on February 10th, 2026. The result that we yielded, or that was yielded from that, was that the planning board did designate us, did designate themselves as the lead agency, which means that under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, that any project that might affect the environment must undergo environmental review. Multiple government bodies may be involved: planning boards, zoning boards, town boards, state agencies, etc. The lead agency is the one government body that takes charge of the entire review process, and that is the planning board. So we thank them for that. We will be proceeding to go to the next meeting, and we'll get an update from John momentarily. The last thing from the executive director's report, I'd like to read you quite a bit of a lengthy email that I received from the Deputy Assistant Director, the Deputy Assistant Secretary, Todd Thomas, regarding the HCV program. I literally received this letter today at 2:12 p.m. What I've done for you, for the board, is I provided you with a board briefing memo. We're literally summarizing what I'm about to read so you can keep and digest it, ask any questions going forward, but this is gonna become essential to our program. It can affect us in numerous ways, and we're gonna need to know about it so that we can have discussion. So let me just share this correspondence. Again, it's dated February 18th, 2026, and at 2:12 p.m. And it is a letter on HCV budget management. By the way, this didn't just come to me. It went to every executive director that's a part of the program for home. Dear Executive Director, on February 3rd, 2026, President Trump signed into law the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2026, which provides a 2026 funding for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. You have a summary of it. We anticipated that PHAs will receive their 2026 housing assistance payment funding amount in the spring after HUD completes the necessary reconciliation of the 2025 voucher management system data. In the meantime, we have updated the two-year projection tool to reflect the estimated population factor of 99% and each PHA's estimated renewal funding inflation factor. These figures will not become final until HUD provides the final funding enclosure to assist PHAs with developing projections for 2026. You can assess the tool on our HCV tools webpage. As explained in the December 22nd, 2025 letter from the Assistant Secretary Benjamin Hobbs to PHA executive directors, HCV per unit cost at many PHAs continue to outpace rental market inflation as measured by the renewal funding inflation factors, referred to for us as RFIS. As a result, some PHAs cap renewal, that's housing assistance payments renewal funding, even at a high proration factor may not be enough to fully support every current housing choice voucher participant without immediate cost saving measures. PHAs must take measures now to reduce program costs, if necessary, to ensure their expenditures do not exceed their anticipated 2026 funding. Now that there's a full year appropriations bill, we can confirm that HUD's tools to address shortfalls in 2026 will be limited. And HUD cannot guarantee that funding will be available to resolve all shortfall needs. Our final 2026 shortfall policies will be outlined in the 2026 Housing Choice Voucher Funding Implementation Notice, which will be published in conjunction with the release of the Public Housing Authority's funding enclosures this spring. HUD anticipates performing another statutory offset of excess reserves for non-moving to work agencies in 2026, as well as a statutory offset of excess reserves in moving to work agencies. All PHAs must plan accordingly. To avoid terminations of assistance, we are strongly encouraging all PHAs to consider implementing cost saving measures, including but not limited to ceasing the issuance of new vouchers with the exception of HUD VASH vouchers and foster youth independence vouchers, which are programs that we don't have, unfortunately. Pause entering into new project-based voucher agreements and commitments with the exception of public housing repositioning efforts, which we are doing. HUD strongly encourages PHAs to consider the most cost-effective methods of responsibly repositioning, including the Section 18 program. Reduce payment standards, including ending the use of any approved exception payment standards, and remain within the basic range except for reasonable accommodations as necessary. Assess rent reasonable policies and procedures to ensure compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements. Adopt other cost-saving measures as indicated in PIH Notice 2025-28, cost-saving measures in the Housing Choice Voucher Program and Project-Based Voucher Program. As stated in the December 2025 letter, all PHAs that receive shortfall awards in 2025 are currently considered to be at risk of a funding shortfall in 2026 and must continue to adhere to the action plan created by the shortfall prevention team. This means that public housing authorities may not issue vouchers except in the very limited circumstances allowed under their action plans. And they must also continue to implement cost-saving measures. PHAs that do not continue to adhere to their action plans may be ineligible for shortfall funds in 2026. HUD's shortfall prevention team will reach out to 2025 shortfall PHAs after they receive their 2026 funding allocations to determine whether they remain at risk of a funding shortfall in 2026, and if not, whether they may be released from the shortfall restrictions. HUD is making technical assistance available throughout 2026 to help public housing authorities manage their program budgets prudently. PHAs experience per unit cost inflation that is outpacing their 2026 renewal funding inflation factor are strongly encouraged to request technical assistance. And they give an email address to reach. Our final note about the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2026. To date, funding for the mainstream voucher program has been appropriated and tracked separately from the HCV program. For 2026, Congress has incorporated renewal funding for mainstream vouchers into renewal funding for the HCV program overall. HUD will be providing further information about this transition in the coming weeks and months. In the meantime, be aware that public housing authorities will continue to track and report leasing and expenditures for mainstream vouchers setting. Thank you for everything that you and your staff do to serve the community. Sincerely, Todd Thomas, Deputy Assistant Secretary, Office of Public Housing and Voucher Programs. So,
Jeffrey, would we be, I don't know about you, but that's a long letter. I'd be able to get a copy of that.
yes, you can.
Thank
You don't have to whisper. You should ask that out loud.
Everybody is.
But you are gonna get a copy of
Okay.
it, but what I did was provide a
Yeah.
summary of it.
Right,
highlighted.
that was a long, you right, it was a
Well,
long
but that's
letter.
why I gave you a
Yeah.
highlighted summary of the
I
key
couldn't keep
Yeah,
up
points
with it.
in the,
Sorry, I couldn't keep up with
in
it.
the letter, but this is the nuts and bolts of it.
It's saying something.
We have to manage our program carefully. We are already a program that has funding issues. And HUD is aware. And when I say HUD is aware, I'm not just talking about national HUD office, I'm talking about our specific field office. They're working with us so that we can reposition ourselves, which is why, this is another reason why our project, our redevelopment project is essential. Because we've developed this public-private partnership so that we can take on debt and leverage that debt to use money operationally to run and serve our participants better, as well as build new developments, build new units. So it's very important that you're aware of that. So because when decisions come down the pipe later this year, these are things that I'll be referring back to.
What are some of the programs we have? We have voucher.
We have two voucher programs right now,
Right.
which is Housing Choice Voucher,
Mhm.
which is Section 8, and we have Project-Based Voucher.
Meaning which is in
which
those
is-
towers, okay.
Okay,
And they're saying don't start any new ones in a sense.
well, no, they're saying from these vouchers, don't continue to issue any new vouchers.
So basically, we can't take on any new,
Right.
Don't we have a
Within
waiting
limitations,
list?
right,
Don't we have a waiting list?
we do.
So that means take on what's there, but don't take on new, which
No,
is
it is
new.
not. Like if we have current people searching for vouchers and we do, we can finish those.
Finish the waiting
But
list.
after that, no. If we have current people searching for vouchers and we only take a few at a time, and we do have people, we do like 5 to 10 at a time. And if they're searching for vouchers, we can finish those off, but after that, we have to pause issuing new vouchers. So those people on the waiting list will remain on the waiting list, and it's gonna lengthen the time of, you know,
Of when they.
of when they'll come to the
Because
top of the
we'll
list.
get to them
So
based
in
on our
terms of
finances.
policy decisions, which are highlighted in the summary, one of the things we may have to consider doing is closing the waiting list for a time. So as to not take on new applicants and giving people false hope, so to speak, but at the same time, you know, it's something that we're gonna have to discuss because it's also creating a pool for us for our current development and our future development.
So pretty much like, because I already have a voucher, I'm supposed to be looking, but if it doesn't go through, then that means I won't get a new.
Not in the near future.
one.
And that's the voucher to look outside of those
Mhm.
towers.
And
Right,
but this is also a voucher to stay in
Its own
units
voucher.
that are here. They're called project-based vouchers.
so it's
that are
also
attached to the-
attacking that,
Okay,
it's affecting that one also.
yes, ma'am.
So.
is another way of thinking about this is that we're just sort of capping, like
Yes.
we can't expand. If, say someone left, could we work with the existing number of, sort of
I can
occupancies?
I can
that we have?
request that. And they may allow that because we're such low numbers,
Mhm.
right? But let's look at it another way. If we were fully tenure occupied in the building,
Yeah,
they wouldn't want us to take any more vouchers.
yeah,
And make sure, but it's also gonna be determined about whether our funding can cover.
mhm.
So if our funding can cover taking on and issuing a new person when we have a vacant unit, then we'll do it.
But we haven't gotten that funding.
No, we're getting funding.
I know, but have we got the numbers for this
Not yet.
2026?
No.
Right, so we
No.
haven't gotten that yet.
That's good.
Okay,
Okay,
so we still have a prayer. and I
yes,
hope.
all right. I'm
Hmm.
sorry to end the executive director report with such daunting news, but these are the types of things that I need to inform you about. Because they will affect policy decisions going forward, all right? So at this time, I will turn it over to John Matteo, who is the Director of Development for Mount Co, for an update.
Thanks, Jeff. Good evening, board members. I think Jeff mentioned earlier the meeting in February with the planning board. And as he indicated, it is a major step forward that the board designated itself as the lead agency. That's an important step forward. And it ties into some of the approvals that we need to get from the state. the board was not able to review the site plan application. As you know, there's been a transition. One of the things that the mayor did that was very helpful is he's bringing in a new consultant to the planning board to review plans that come before the planning board. One of the things that we asked the mayor, and he very graciously supported, was to bring the consultant that's already seen the plans, right? We've been working with the planning board for the last year. So rather than bring in a new consultant to look at these plans, he's agreed to use the previous consultant just for this project. For other projects going forward, he'll have a new engineer. That's very, very helpful for us because it means that the engineer is not starting from scratch. So there's a little, administrative glitch to get through that. But so the engineer had not been brought on board, so they were not able to review the plans for the February meeting. And they are on board now. And our engineer is going back and forth with them. Hopefully, we'll get comments from the engineer, from the city's engineer, in time for the March 10th meeting. That's one of the three things that are going on that are critical to move the project forward. Our next meeting with the planning board is March 10th, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to have a full review of the site plan, meaning we'll be getting comments from the city about focusing on site plan issues. One of the things that was mentioned at the February meeting is that there was some concern about the design of the building that that I think a number of board members, planning board members, did not want the development to look like a stereotypical public housing project from the 60s and 70s. A big brick building and with no character. And I think we all agree on that. And that was, we've had full discussions about design. And so one of the things that the planning board asked was to get them renderings of what the buildings are going to look like, which is certainly a reasonable request. So our architects are in the process of doing that. We've got about 2 weeks left before the meeting on the 10th, and our goal is to get full renderings. And just to give you sort of, and I can't give you architectural design comments, but I think I can describe this. I think if you think about the building on Site B, which is on the other side of State Street, you wouldn't want it's a long building, and you don't want it to read as just a big, industrial type looking building or public housing type building. And the way to address that architecturally, as I understand it, from our architects, is to create sort of setbacks as you go along the building. So you go along and then you set a portion of the building back, then you come back out, and it breaks up the building. So it gives the building more character, and it'll make the building look better. So those renderings are being worked on now, and as I say, we're hopeful that we're going to have them for the March 10th planning board meeting. But on March 10th, we're very hopeful that the city's engineers will have comments on drainage and site lighting and parking, all the other issues that the planning board gets involved in. The second major thing that is going on is on Monday, we have a call with the state, which is called a pre-application call. The state has now slotted us, as I think we told you, for an October closing. And they want to make sure that we're going to be able to close in October. So they want to talk to us now about things like, do we have our financial commitments from the lender and the investor? Where are we with our building plans? When do we think we can get site plan approval? When do we think we can get building permit approval? They are particularly interested in sustainability issues. um, uh, in terms of how we're going to make the building energy efficient and that type of thing. They have a whole series of requirements. They want to know now that the design that we have is going to meet those requirements, which it does. So the call on Monday is to give the state an update, tell them that we're still on target to close. Still a lot of work to do, obviously, but we want to make sure that the state understands and agrees that this project is moving along properly. Related to that is we're working on actually doing the building plans now. It's a little in advance of what we normally do, but our schedule is so tight. We might normally go through a whole planning process and get a site plan approval before we get into full construction drawings. But we told the board, I think at the last meeting, that we started construction drawings now. It's conceivable that if the planning board changes the site plan significantly, we'd have to amend those. But based on the previous discussions we've had with the previous town engineer and the previous code enforcement person, we don't see the buildings significantly changing. We're not going to move the buildings around too much. We're not changing the heights of the buildings or the number of the units. So we feel comfortable enough to start on the construction drawings now. And then finally, the thing that I would say, and Jeff, I don't know that you've had a chance to send this on to the board, but late this afternoon, I sent to Jeff an updated project timeline, which lists all the major milestones and approvals that we're looking for to get us to our closing. And that's a good check to make sure that we're keeping the project moving forward appropriately. The timeline shows that we can make the October closing. We're targeting maybe 4 months to get a planning board approval, which is a little bit on the aggressive side, but I think reasonable from where we are. And then a few months to get building plans approved after that. The two major wild cards in that are things that are a little bit out of our control. One is the brownfields. We're in the brownfields program, as I think the board is aware, but and we have a brownfields approval letter, but going from an approval letter to getting a final sign off from the state DEC is a process that is sometimes difficult. So we've got maybe 6 months if you look at the timeline when we get it to you to get that done, and we're working with DEC on that. But we can't close this project unless we have final DEC sign off. The other major sign off, other than the local approval on the site plan and building permits, is the approval from HUD. We had a call, I guess, Jeff, it was towards the end of the year with HUD. That was, I think, very positive. We're working with them. And your counsel, Brian Lawler, is working with Jeff to get HUD all the things that it needs so that they can sign off on the project as well. So that's where we are, where we can give you an update after the HCR meeting on Monday. We can send out a note to everybody. I'm assuming that that's going to go well. The other thing that we can give you that I don't know that we've given you is we can give you a link to all the documents that we sent to HCR in anticipation of this call on Monday. So it includes some documents regarding financing and some other things. But if you want, you can take a dive into those if you want to. But from our review of it, it's everything HCR needs to continue to move the project forward. So I'm going to stop there. I know I went over a lot of things, but we can go back as much as you want.
For you, if there's any questions before that, I just want to, put a pin in a couple things. We've been going before the planning board for 2 years. Just to be clear, not 1 year. We've been in process with them, but we've been presenting before them for 2 solid years of this project, so it's not new to them. So I just want to make that highlight. And I also wanted to note that the board does have the timeline in their package. I didn't mention that today, but they are aware. It's in front of them right now. So they are aware of it.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Thanks for turning that around so quickly.
Yeah, no problem. Any questions?
Okay, we'll move right on to any residents that would like to make a public comment. Nothing? Okay, well, we'll move right on to new business. As you all know, we lost Claire. I miss our girl. Tonight is the night that we have to elect a new vice chairperson for the board. Do we have any nominations?
What are the existing, actually, I haven't, I mean, I know my position, but I don't know
Right.
everybody else's position.
I'm gonna get the training. Is it training required for this board?
It's the same for all boards. Are you talking about that?
No, she's talking about the lead the way that I sent out.
Oh,
He's gonna go over it. We'll have to put them on my phone.
Yeah,
so they have it.
yeah. And also on HUD's website, they have a ton of pictures.
Yes.
So just to answer the question for Commissioner Black, Ravonda is the chairperson. The vice chair position is currently vacant. Commissioner Black is the treasurer. The secretary is Commissioner Wolf. That's it.
And then, I mean, I imagine the vice chair serves as the chair in the chair's absence,
You got it.
maybe has, no signatory responsibilities
If I'm not around.
if you're not around.
If she's not around, the signatory responsibilities for us would be our audit of when we pay the bills, we basically sign in triplicate, meaning the auditor reviews the bills, then myself and Commissioner signs the checks.
Triplicate signatures of the director.
No, what I mean is, they go through 3 approvals.
Okay.
I have to sign, the treasurer has to sign, the auditor reviews the
Oh, so
bills.
the vice president doesn't have, the president doesn't have to sign it.
The president is the auditor.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. The
Yeah, no, you
president
didn't
is
make
the
that
auditor.
clear.
I apologize.
So when the president's not available to audit, the vice president has to do it.
Right.
So knowledge of auditing should.
Well, all it is I don't wanna make it too
Yeah,
complicated.
it sounds.
The auditing. I don't want anybody to miss anything. The auditing is just a review of the bills, what's being paid. And you're attesting to the fact that, all of the backup documentation is there. And
Okay, so it's more like.
if I'm paying, Lowe's, not department store, but the hardware company, you see that those things match up. And it's understood true. Okay,
I just got on the board, so I know you're not recommending me, Give me a year or two. you know?
You gotta
and I'll
jump
be
in
ready.
there.
I like jumping in, but I also like knowing how to swim.
Mhm.
Good one. That's a good one.
That's how I've survived all my life.
No recommendations,
I recommend one of the,
nominations?
oh. You
Barely,
didn't call your
just same
name.
time as you, I can.
No.
Next
I
guy,
like that idea. I like nominating Mary Dad.
yeah.
I'm gonna say that too.
Yeah, you
Okay,
gonna second
yeah.
my nomination?
All right.
There you go.
Mary Beth, that's
Do
second.
it.
All in favor? Oh, that's not for me to call.
no mind me saying.
Sorry about that.
Won't happen now.
Been my
Well,
myself,
well-
but I'm new too. I'm just like her.
Yeah.
I wanna learn to swim. Well, I am not no.
All in favor?
All right,
Would you like a roll call vote? for this?
Absolutely.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Wolf is absent, Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
Commissioner Zakos.
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Joyner.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow, cool. I'm
All
sure
right.
it's an electrifying role.
It
Well, Mary,
is.
you've been on the board. You've been
Don't
around,
start.
she's been on the board for a long
I
time.
did just,
Mary, how long have you
Years.
been on the board?
it's 2 or 6 years.
So, yeah, long
So also Commissioner
No,
Decker,
What? No, she didn't, wasn't on the board when I got here.
No,
You were on it before she got here.
no. Yes
Been
and no.
on and off.
Yeah,
Yes and no.
okay, so you've been on it, off, on it, on,
off.
okay.
so Commissioner Decker,
Really?
another thing is if Commissioner Smith is absent, you'll have to run the meeting.
Which is
That's
not,
right.
because I've done it before.
That's right.
Sounds good.
Good.
Sounds good. I just wanted to highlight.
Yeah. Okay, we are moving right on.
Okay.
Do we have any resolution
You do not.
and no executive session? Is there any public comment? Anybody online? have
Questions
a-
online.
No, no.
You can either speak up or raise your hand to be acknowledged, please.
Doesn't seem.
Being none,
Okay.
Commissioners' time. Any commissioners like to say anything? Any questions, anything?
I just kind of want to go back to just for like my own education about
The letter?
just for like the plainest language way of putting this, that the federal government is giving full year funding for the HCD program. However, inflation, not just economic inflation, but inflation in rent rates, which is way higher and faster than like the cost of maybe, bread, means that that there's a gap between what the voucher programs can provide to landlords who are participating in those voucher programs.
say that very last part again.
Like if the rents are too high, then there's a breakdown in the relationship between private landlords participating
It
in
could be-
Section 8.
Ultimately, that can be a major effect depending upon what region you're in and what your inflation factor is.
Well, that's
But
the-
you're exactly right. You can look at it this way, and it's not anything else that has happened outside of other funding in America.
Right,
What the administration has done is provided what they call level funding,
Mhm.
meaning where they didn't take anything away or increase anything. They've
To match
stayed at-
inflation.
Well,
right,
they didn't match it.
exactly, that's
They've
level,
stayed where they
They did.
were, and the problem is it is not matching inflation.
right,
And in Section 8 and project-based vouchers, our rents are already extremely low.
Mhm.
That's good for the residents
Tenants.
for subsidy wise,
Right.
but in comparison to fair market rent, financially it's difficult for us to keep up with operations. We pay a light bill, a water bill, sewer, garbage. Our building is not 100% occupied.
Right.
We operate as if we are a full capacity functioning agency,
right,
in all facets of the word. And so, or the concept. And there's a gap in that for us specifically, and we're not the only ones.
right,
This is definitely not, and it's not even a few agencies, it is a lot of agencies that are being affected. These are the type of things that we discuss at our professional conferences that we go to. FADA, which I'm a trustee on the board of, we have written letters to the Congress, our Congress folks, and along with other professional organizations. And I can share that information with you about, these decisions and how they can affect our programs in the long term. And just for another layer of understanding, the federal government has divested in funding of these type of federal programs over a longer period of time. So
sure,
if we have to entertain what we are in now, which is a RAD project because of deferred funding, just imagine what this is added onto that.
Yeah.
So it's just an overall dire situation, which is not hard to feel because, like you said, the price of bread and eggs and all of that. So it's just, it is where we are right now. So we have to be they're putting the onus on us, and some of our pushback from the professional organizations is, why are you being punitive to us? And we've helped create this situation with not providing proper funding.
Right.
So it's a push-pull. They make the laws. We have to figure out how we work around it, or work within it. But we are providing this information to you this evening because some of our decisions are going to be affected when we get to that. For example, to be more specific, I'm getting ready to start working on our budget in March. And you know, it's something that's gonna come up on certain.
You mentioned RAD.
The RAD.
Yeah, what is that?
That is the program we're in, which is called a rental assistance demonstration. program.
Demonstration. Yeah, I've
So-
heard of rental assistant program, rental assistance,
Demonstration, yeah.
but now it's called demonstration.
So, Commissioner Joyner and Commissioner Black, I owe you a couple of items. I am going to provide you with a list of acronyms to help
Yes,
bring you
thank
up
you.
to speed, as
Okay.
well as the bylaws, which we should be taking a look at anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to provide you with a copy of the bylaws for our organization.
But this is the process through which we were able to leverage debt and sell
Yes.
property.
So it's a
This is
good-
like the private partnership.
Right,
process.
it is a
This
good
is-
program, but
private?
it's a tough
Public-private.
program.
Yeah.
And thank God we're in a, well. This is a weird comment, but I'll say this. So there's been several iterations of RAD. Unfortunately, we are in a older iteration, but I believe that we're going to be able to take advantage of some new offerings. Those are some things I'm working on, so as I get to that point, I'll disclose that information. But we're working on that, to try to help us, you know, improve our program and be financially solid. But overall, the program has, you know, has morphed over the years and is in a much better, it's a much better offering today than it was when what they call RAD 1, which is somewhere around where meaning the Hudson Housing Authority, before I was here, elected to participate. So, but we're working through that, and HUD knows that it was a bad, the HUD knows that it was a bad program or a bad deal, and they are actually working with us to fix the problem. Just one more add, what you don't know is the conversation that I have with them. Even though they're governed by their leaders, you know, I, as an advocate for our folks, as well as us as a housing authority, continue to remind HUD that they are culpable in our status right now. And they, in my opinion, owe us every bit of help that they can give us. And I hold them to that so that they can help us through this. But, and they know we're in bad shape. Like, I've not lied about it. Some other executive directors take a different approach. Not pat myself on the back, but one of the best things I've done, in my opinion, since I've been here was actually inviting them to the property to actually see where we were and what was going on, which gave them a real aha and really changed. It brought our problems closer to them. So if I made any good decisions, that was one, and it's gonna bear fruit. That's all I have. I'm gonna talk a little to.
Any
Yes.
other commissioner more questions? Yes.
What about a mainstream voucher?
It's a different type of program.
Oh, we're not,
No.
okay.
That's gonna be a part of your acronym.
But you did say there were programs that we were not part of.
Yeah.
There's,
That's fine.
Yeah, but I didn't know
another,
what you- yeah.
there's project-based rental assistance, which is another type of voucher. There's
Right.
VASH,
That
which is
sounds like what we do.
veteran assistance. There's
FYI.
it's not FYI, yeah,
Oh.
it's VASH.
No, there's
Now,
that,
she's
but
asking what.
I was asking,
FYI.
but this is
Let me see.
extracurricular.
Finance someone, I saw it.
I think you're talking about the youth
Yeah, maybe so. It's
I
like,
read it to you.
Foster youth. initiative.
Foster Youth
Foster Youth
Initiative, yes, that is that one. Yes.
Foster Youth Unit.
Even I don't know all that
I
acronym.
know.
Right,
Yeah.
it's too many.
It's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot, yeah, but we only have two.
We don't
And
have-
what are the acronyms?
Housing choice voucher,
H is B.
right, which is section 8, that's easier to remember.
Okay, and the other
One
one?
is project-based voucher,
P,
PPP.
P what?
PPV.
B, and that's also section 8,
Yes, it's a typo. The difference is
Section 8
if it's
was
attached to
applying.
the unit,
right?
that voucher is attached to the unit.
And the other one is not.
attached to the rest.
But the one that's not attached has always had a problem with getting a rental home.
I think you're right.
In other words, the voucher that people were applying for just for section 8 to go out and get their apartment, it has always been a problem if they want an apartment in Hudson, where the voucher didn't match their.
It doesn't match
There's
the.
a low supply of landlords that
so-
are willing
Right,
to
low.
participate. in
That's
loan.
correct.
Right,
Right.
right,
That is correct.
and that's,
And the rents are way higher
right,
than.
and that's been a problem,
Yeah.
and that is a problem.
Because the landlords have to charge, like the gap between what the tenant can afford and what the voucher will cover is
landlord has to eat it.
yeah, exactly.
And then,
I mean,
and now with
now-
new landlords, it's even harder because people have paid more for their homes
Right,
and they're paying more taxes. So therefore, they want to reap more income or at least enough to keep the home floating.
right. However, to be clear,
Yeah.
we put a lot of money into the local economy in Hudson, and everybody should know that our economic impact is important.
Exactly. People never
and
agree.
Just for HCV alone, we fund about $500,000 in vouchers, so that's something that's important to know. Two participating landlords.
So we have a large amount of them that's taking the vouchers. We have quite a few landlords that's taking vouchers.
No, it's just
Yeah,
that
'cause-
the ones that participate, you know,
Cause I
Based
didn't
on
see
what-
that.
the way it works is our residents pay 30% of their income. We make up the difference.
Right,
So a landlord's rent a person could be charging 1,300 for a unit, the tenant portion could be 12, we pay the other 11
oh,
monthly. So for one person, that's significant.
Yeah.
cause I did see it
Just to
for
give an
20,
example.
yeah, I saw it for 2026 and it looks like it was, but it went up.
What
The
would-
vouchers for 2026,
The
section 8,
the
the
like-
money that they're paying.
oh, I see.
It looks like it went up.
Budget.
2 bedrooms.
You mean the
Right.
cost,
Even the
Yeah.
cost.
the
Right.
rental rate? Yeah, the calculation. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's sort of what they're describing here is that. You know what?
It's not,
We're
It's
gonna,
been a long day. I'm gonna stop speaking out loud.
no, we'll do the.
But it
we'll
is all
understand
part-
this. Yeah,
and if we can all get together, we will, hopefully do some training on that, so you can take a deeper dive and ask those questions, because it is important.
yeah, it's important to understand.
As our funding gets better, we can look forward hopefully to and even if we do a local retreat. So that, we can bring some women to help educate you guys as the commissioners on, do's, don'ts, and what ours and what aren't, so to speak.
So do we have to vote on that tonight?
No,
All in favor?
that's you.
Any other commissioner?
Is John still on?
Yes, he is.
I got a question actually for him. Somebody had came to me yesterday.
Can you hear John?
Yeah, I do.
So when you build the houses over across the street on site B,
Mhm.
for family and seniors or just families?
Yeah, it's primarily family. We're building 2 5-bedroom units. Okay, so that's obviously family. And then we're building, I believe, 2-bedroom units and 1-bedroom unit. So theoretically, you could put a senior in a 1-bedroom unit, but it's not designated as senior housing. It's all designated as family housing.
Oh, I don't know. She thought that somebody went and told her that it's not for well, I can't say she's a senior.
Hmm.
Cause she's younger than me, but she's a 1-bedroom and somebody went and told her that she wasn't moving over there because she
Do you live in
wasn't.
this building?
Yeah,
It's primarily for people
That's-
Everybody's
First,
moving
first,
over.
yeah,
That's what
everybody
it
from
is.
here is moving over.
Yeah.
Somebody else that lives in Rosa told her no, so, but they don't come to the meetings. Just put it out there.
That's why people come to the meetings.
Which is important.
Yeah.
And,
That's what I told her, come on down.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
and they need
we
to
don't
talk
have
to
a
the people.
designated senior
No.
building, but
Right.
we have a lot of them around.
Right, but they also need to talk to the leaders in the building, myself, my assistant. We can clear up some of those, and I'm not certain where they're getting that information from. But I do know that these are questions that are asked repeatedly.
But they don't like going to the office. Oh, they come to us.
That's why,
Mhm.
that's why we have many commissioners.
Exactly.
Good thing.
And it's good that you
As
should
chair.
bring those questions here. That's
Exactly.
exactly how this all should happen.
Yep, yep.
Well, I want to ask a question. When you say 2 5-bedroom units, what does that mean in terms? Because it means to me you're only building 2 units that have 5 bedrooms.
That's right.
Yeah, that's all we're doing. That's all we have right now. And we're continuing it over.
I don't remember.
2
the actual-
units with 5 bedrooms,
Mhm.
Correct.
but you're gonna have 100 or something units in that building, right?
There's lots of
It's
other
not-
number of
oh,
units.
It won't be in that building.
That,
The
that's,
5 bedroom.
just
will
asking
be in the
about- yeah.
townhouse.
okay,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I just want to clear that up. My
Yeah,
mind
the
thinks
5
they're
bedroom is a
different
part of the
sometimes.
townhouse. At the community garden.
Okay.
So it's
Motion.
allowed to have a,
Yeah, well,
5 bedroom
I
in that
just
building.
wanted to clear it up.
yeah, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Have a good one.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Nice.